What's the biggest thing you're looking forward to seeing?
I'm looking for where is Cincinnati, and because we spend so much time, Zubin, talking about the Group of Five, and will they have any chance whatsoever? We'll get a clue tonight. I don't know how much of one, and we all are in debt, by the way, to the committee for working so hard and being in the same room. And I say that somewhat jokingly, Zubin, because tonight's ranking, as much as we all want to see them, won't really determine very much. People will wonder, where is Florida? Really doesn't matter where Florida is for this reason. They'll play Alabama in a couple of weeks. They beat Alabama, they're in the playoffs. So, that's an interesting one. Texas A&M is on the outside looking in with no clear path. So Texas A&M fans are going to be watching very closely. I think Northwestern fans are curious. So what did the committee think of our big win over the weekend over Wisconsin? And other than that, Alabama is going to be number one. Notre Dame likely would be number two, and we'll probably see Ohio State and Clemson. That would be a big surprise, won't it?
Indeed.
Great, Paul. Let's get to the juicy stuff. What is your take on Dabo Swinney's comments as using as COVID as an excuse for Florida State canceling their game against Clemson?
Yeah, this is a confusing one for many respects because for those who don't know the backstory, they had a player on the plane, a Clemson player, JWill, who had shown some symptoms all week but had continued to test negative. And then when they got down there to Tallahassee over the weekend on Friday, they found out that he was testing positive. So what's disturbing about this is there was a lack of leadership involved in the decision. The medical staffs of Florida State and Clemson apparently were at the negotiating table Saturday morning, hours before the game. Where was the ACC? It seems like this should have been a conference decision. Instead, they left it up to the individual teams, and Florida State said, we don't feel comfortable. And Dabo went crazy yesterday, and some of what he said was justified. They spent $300,000 going down there. They were ready to play a game, and they needed that game. And by the way, they were going to win that game by 4 touchdowns. So Clemson came out of there without a win against Florida State, which may impress someone right now, although I can't imagine it impresses anyone who follows college football closely.
Paul, the college football rankings will be unveiled tonight. Who should be in the top 4? Who do we think is going to be in the top 4?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt Alabama is going to end up number 1. And I think Notre Dame, based on its win over Clemson in overtime, albeit without Trevor Lawrence, is probably at the number 2 position. I think Ohio State will be a shaky 3rd because of its underwhelming win over Indiana. And I say underwhelming. Indiana's a very good team, but we expected Ohio State to win by more. After that, it may get tricky. I think Clemson will be number 4. There's a chance that Texas A&M could sneak in there based on schedule. But yeah, I don't think the top 4 or 5 are going to be very hard to figure out. The one thing that I always caution, and I know this is a big moment in college football in terms of where we are in the season, but there are so many other matchups ahead. I mean, there's very likely going to be a Notre Dame-Clemson matchup and an Alabama-Florida matchup. So we have two games remaining at least with top 6, top 7 matchups and probably higher, Key.
Yeah. Paul, so many people, so many teams would love to impress the College Football Committee. BYU tweeted out that they wanted another game, and they said anytime, any place, and now it appears that they're running from playing the Washington Huskies. What do you make of the entire crazy situation?
Well, I mean, they had a schedule that got blown up by COVID, and I don't know why they wouldn't take that game. It's not going to prove everything, but at least it will prove that they're willing to do what they said they were going to do. So I thought that was a big mistake. I don't know all the details on why they didn't take it, but if you can get a quality game, take it if you're BYU. I mean, they have been impressive. They really have. I mean, they opened the season at Navy just completely obliterating the midshipmen. They've had other impressive wins along the way, but they are trying desperately to get attention. And when you're in that position, you better take whatever you can get.
There's 3 college football programs in the Big Ten Michigan, Nebraska, Penn State are 1, 7th, and 8th in all-time wins in college football. But for whatever reason, these programs can't seem to get out of their own way. What's the situation there?
Well, congratulations to Jim Harbaugh. And Zubin, I felt for you Saturday night.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
this was an excruciating overtime, double overtime win against your alma mater. And I mean, that is now the definition of where Michigan football is, celebrating a win on the road against Rutgers. And I think, you correct me, last year was 49-0, 52-0, whatever it was. It was pretty ugly. But Rutgers has come a long way under Greg Schiano. Penn State is just mind-boggling how James Franklin can be 0 for the season. The one that really concerns me the most is Scott Frost. Do you guys remember 3 years ago? Scott Frost was the toast of college football. In their mind, he took UCF to a national championship, not in anyone else's mind. Everybody wanted this guy. Florida offered him, other schools offered him, but he wanted to go back to his alma mater to resurrect the echoes of yesterday, and he has been an absolute failure there.
Give him another extension.
Well, in college football, that's the way it goes right now, as you well know.
It is ironic to think that Nebraska was the first team to essentially say, we want to play, I don't care what the Big Ten thinks, any place, anytime, anywhere, and they have gotten their comeuppance because they actually have gotten on the field. And I think after the results do show, perhaps they should have sat it out the way everybody else wanted to earlier on. It is amazing. You're right. He's a legend. He led Nebraska to a national championship as a quarterback, but boy, they seem as far away from a national championship of the college football playoff as you could possibly be.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.